Og så er der ind i kanten.
This is the last lens of an era, in a way. And it's also the first lens of a new era. And it's sort of this mule in between. It shares the amazing build quality of the old 28 to 70, aka the Beast, which is called the Beast for good reason. It's large, heavy, it's robust. You could sit on it and it would still work while you're sitting on it. And this Nikkor 17 to 55 f2.8 DX shares this build quality. Nikon started to prioritize weight. They cared less about size, which meant that everything after this were huge plastic shells with really good internal build quality, but they shaved off all of these metal parts on the exterior, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're worse build quality, but they give a different feel, especially when you use the lens for a lot of years. When things started to get worn down, then the metal part will last a lot longer. I totally agree that a plastic lens would probably last more drops in the beginning of your usage, but plastic tend to dry out and get sort of dull. I don't know if that's the right word. And so maybe after 10 years, those plastic parts are perhaps starting to crack just by themselves. And that's such a shame, in my opinion. But it's also the first of an era, because it's the first professionally built lens that were made for digital only, being a DX lens. And for me, this was the first professional camera equipment I ever bought. I had a Nikon D200, which I didn't really consider professional, but it was really expensive back then. And this lens, I sort of bite the bullet, and because I thought, okay, I'm gonna use this lens for years and years and years. And while that was in a way correct, Nikon did eventually go full frame, and this lens became on paper obsolete, but it was only on paper because it actually covers a full frame sensor from 28 if you're not picky on vignetting. But if you are picky on fall off and vignetting, then this lens will cover 35 to 55.
Hallo? Hej. Og jeg så bare, I sad herinde. Jeg tænkte, om jeg måtte tage et billede herinde. Jeg så bare lige, der var nogen herinde, så tænkte jeg lige at spørge, om jeg må tage et billede herinde. Det må du gøre. Tomme hatter og sådan. Ja, kan jeg godt gøre her? Ja. Okay, tak.
And that's actually pretty good range considering its size, because this lens is a bit smaller than the lens that came after it, the 24 to 70. And I actually came to prefer that over the larger 24 to 70 were really large. Not something you would want to drag around in on an election day, for example. Or you could, people do that, so that's not really a problem. But I just prefer the smaller lens. So I actually ended up using this lens way longer than I had anticipated. It's been 23 years ago, so this means that I also had this lens for 23 years or 22 years or something, and I still use it as a daily carry once in a while, not only on the D200 but also on the D3s, and for that it's still a good lens actually, and my copy still works even though it has broken parts. It has a broken filter thread, and the hood is gone, and the AF/MF switch just one day fell off by itself. I guess the plastic got tired. My greatest achievement with this lens on my camera was in 2008. I had just graduated school, I think, or maybe I was still in school of journalism. And I went to this demonstration against deportation of immigrants in Denmark. So the demonstration were held in front of this, not a deportation center, I think it's a home for immigrants center, I don't know what you call it in English. And that was like a gated area, but it was located in on these plains where there were no civilization. It almost looked medieval. And I went there on my own. I had no newspaper connection or anything, and that sort of meant that I had a different mindset in a way. I had sort of space in my head to analyze the story in a different way, and I saw this medieval sort of aspect of this whole event, because the cops were there and they were on horse. Demonstrators, they had formed up in these small groups of people, and they all had flags in different colors, and they had like pre-arranged some stuff that they would do. So the guys with the purple flag, they would go around the whole thing and like make a diversion, and then the ones with the red flag would probably just storm in front and see if they could open the gate. I just sort of got in the zone. I think I had just been in an art museum and watched these old medieval paintings, and I sort of started making these medieval paintings on the side, more or less, with the camera, of course. And then all of a sudden I found myself in this tear gas cloud. I could almost see nothing. I could just hear a helicopter above me, and I could hear these shells of tear gas exploding next to me or flying over my head. And all of a sudden I saw this guy picking up a tear gas shell that was still spraying out tear gas, and he threw it back at the cops. And I just sort of pointed the camera at him. I think I had just looked inside the camera, connected focus to him, and then I just took the camera down on an angle where I could maybe catch the helicopter. And I didn't look at this picture before I got home, and then it was just sort of perfectly aligned, everything. The helicopter, the guy throwing the grenade, and he was magically sharp. And this photo were picked out of my collection of photos, and I won the news photo of the year that year, and that was really sort of a surprise. I did not expect that. Eventually that also led to a lot of job opportunities later on, and a path for me that wasn't the right path, but it was an interesting one. But that's another story. And while this camera and lens probably didn't contribute to winning this prize, they did in a way anyway, because I think this was a case of trusting your gear, where the gear would not get in the way of me taking a picture. If I were with some combination of gear that I didn't really trust, I didn't understand, I didn't really know how to use, then I would have struggled with just pointing the camera in one direction and just trust my settings to work as I intended. I think that's it.
Hej Daniel. Hej.
Meget tung baby. Helt flasket, kan ingenting.
What lens are you using?
What?
What lens are you using?
It's a 70-55. It's on an APS size thing.
Is it good?
What?
Is it nice? You like
Yeah, it's a little bit too dark for this.
2.8?
What?
2.8?
Yeah. but the camera is old, so the light is too low.
What camera is it?
It's a D200.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crop sensor, right?
Yeah,
okay.
But it's 20 years old, so the images
I mean,
are...
the lens is good though.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine when coupled with something a little bit newer.
It looked a bit like 35 1.4 because I'm also using Nikon. I'm a photographer. So.
Ah, okay.
Hey, prøv at se, der er et hjerte, der er et hjerte. Der er et hjerte. Det lignede et hjerte.
Det ligner en hjerne.
Det lugtede af et hjerte.
Lugter det en hjerne?
Ja.
Så var det nok en hjerne.
Hvad er hjerter til egentlig?
Det er til at tænke med.
Tænke.
Til at tænke med, ja.